All right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's get busy.
Come on in.
First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Special election edition broadcast this morning. Hey, hey, hey. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Pops is on it. Good Tuesday morning, fam. Mad love from Las Vegas. Good morning, Pops.
Hey.
That's right. It is Tuesday. No, you don't have to look at your calendar. We're doing a special edition today. It's going up on a Tuesday.
Going up on a Tuesday.
Yep. Come on in, ghost listeners, chat chimers. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Yep. Special Tuesday, November 8th edition. Check in with us before you go vote.
Man.
Once again, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All Beeee Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us. Vicky Young says, good morning, good people. Thank you. We're giving you a chance to check in with us before you go out and vote today. This is a special election edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. And we are live on a Tuesday, November 8th, 2022 for an abbreviated show. So if you're on Facebook, go ahead and share the show. Tell a friend. We're only going to be on for a short time, but we got a special guest in the house. And the special guest is sitting in the wings right now. Special guest, Michelle Troxclair.
Hey.
What's happening?
Yeah, you know what? There's so much happening.
Lots happening for sure.
Yeah. Whole year's worth of soap boxes.
Oh, man, y'all don't understand how I've been over here about political stuff and things.
We miss you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle, you lagging a little bit. We might have to get a little closer to that modem, like we was talking about.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yep.
I'm lagging.
Yeah, you lagging pretty bad. It's hard to understand you a little bit.
A little choppy. Let us know how's the experience for the listeners. Is she pretty choppy on your end? Is it hard to understand? Is it not too bad? That's what really matters. As long as the people here.
There you go. Linda in Chicago says, happy election day. Good luck to us all. Thank you. Rome's Reviews and Pop says, hi, Michelle. They're giving you some love, some hearts. Okay, Mark Madden's in the house. He says, choppy. Yeah, Michelle, if you can move a little closer to the modem, that might help.
Let me.
Vicky Young says, choppy.
Let me walk around
Linda says,
here and
catching
see
every
what
other word.
I can do. Not every other word. I got to be careful for what I say.
Every word. That's right. Form these abstract sentences.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for everybody joining us on this special edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Like I said, we wanted to get together and just talk a little bit before everybody goes to vote. Just check in with us a little bit. Michelle Troxclair has some things to say about how important it is. Cena Hall Tibbs in the house. Good morning. Hey. Michelle garbled. Yeah, we're trying to get her going right there. Thank you for joining us over on YouTube, by the way. Michelle,
am I any better?
Say again.
Am I any? No.
You gotta get in the spot, stay still, and then try.
All right, let me see Okay, am
Yeah.
I any better here?
Yeah, seems to be a little bit better there. Yeah.
Okay, okay. All
Yeah.
righty. I'm here.
Well, good morning. Tell us how you are then. Let's test this out and hear how you are at the same time.
I'm doing all right. I'm concerned about the elections today, so hopefully we get to what we need to do our civic duty to make sure that the country doesn't fall completely to pieces.
Yeah, I hear that.
You said
I hear that.
concerned?
Yeah. I'm very. This is going to determine whether or not I can continue to stay.
If you continue to stay in the country, you said?
Yep.
Okay. Um, so when you get to you got a soapbox moment for us today, right? Okay. When you do your soapbox moment, we're gonna have you call in over the phone because we're gonna miss too much of your soapbox moment. We want you to be able to deliver that powerfully.
Yeah.
Better if I'm not on video, if I just call in now.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Let's do that. Let's try that.
We can put a picture in place.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
All
Thank you
right.
kindly.
Send me what I need to call.
Well, you got my phone number, don't you?
Yeah, can I just call that?
Yeah, you
Yep.
can just call that. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I will
All right,
be
we'll see you in a minute.
long. All right.
All right. Oh Lord. Oh man, we gotta do something about helping her with the
On the
tech
tech.
over there. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Anyway, we'll have Michelle call back. Carolyn Jackson says, "Good morning. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us." Yeah, we apologize. We always are trying to help people get their tech together on their side, and it's always something, man. But I can't blame them all the time. It'd be Cox Cable.
Man.
It's it's always you gotta do several things in order to get your tech right to be able to come in. So don't blame her. She's doing. It's better than it was. I will say that much. It's better than it was. But we'll go ahead and have her call in and talk to us a little bit about some things and deliver her soapbox moment because I love having moments like this. It's election day. Everybody's going to do the thing as far as everybody's going to do the thing as far as going to vote. And then we have Michelle Troxclair who puts that kind of stuff in context for us and with the word smithedness that she possesses. The word smithedness. Yeah, the word smithedness that I just made up.
Can we make sure Michelle can hear me?
Say again, Michelle.
I said that would make you a wordsmith.
Okay.
Yeah. You're making words.
Yes, you just made a whole new word. Look at you.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Whole lot of wordsmithery.
Buddy got in on it right there. Did you hear, Buddy? He said a whole lot of wordsmithery.
Yeah.
Buddy, give her a little test. See if she can hear you.
Check 1 2. As you can see, we are live.
Yep.
All right, cool.
I hear Buddy Da Gawd. Okay.
Hey.
Beautiful. Pop says I can already feel the shenanigans starting up. That's what's up,
Oh, yeah.
Pop.
I've been ready to put the she in the nanigans for a minute.
I heard that. Linda in Chicago says, I Zoom most of the day for work and my T-Mobile has not been the smoothest recently. Yeah, man, I'm trying to tell you, it's the tech. They want to hold us back with the tech. They really do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but anyway, here we are, and thank you very much for joining us today. We do miss you. We hope to have you back in some new shows, several shows in the future again. But what have you been doing? What's been going on with you?
Well, I've been working with the theater on some things, on things, and working on Tyson's house.
Yes,
Yeah.
how's coming?
It's starting to look really cute. I'm excited for him. So, yeah, he's I don't know how excited he is. I think he's worn out. I think he might be sick of his house.
Yeah, y'all been like replacing floors and everything, right? Replacing floors, painting.
Yeah, we had to. It was pretty much a complete gut job.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's no fun. I'll be ready to move out as soon as it gets done.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now like, wow, how far it's come. So it's a labor of love.
So you didn't hurt yourself doing all that construction over there or anything? You all right?
I am. I did a couple times though. I did some stuff to my back a couple times. There've been a couple days where I've been real sore. But yeah, it's I try to leave all the heavy, hard stuff to Tyson and his friends.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
As young men should.
That's right. Let me stand around as a young man. Let your mama pick up something heavy.
Man.
He's actually pretty good about that. So yeah, he's been working hard, and yeah, as soon as his house is done, yeah, I'll be moving my youngest out.
Okay. Tyson X.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, like I said, he's still young. He'll be home for some home cooked meals and things.
Oh yeah.
He ain't going far. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I really appreciate you taking the time this morning to come on this morning. Special election edition that we got going on today, and we really just want to encourage people to go vote today. Check in this morning and get a little bit of encouragement. Get down to your poll places. Anybody? I'd like to talk to the chat too. Is anybody in the chat already voted? Did you do your early voting? Are you going today? What's your experience? Do you need a ride? Do you have arrangements? Let us know what your voting experience is like before now, or if you already did. That's a good thing too. I heard there's a lot of early voting going on for sure.
Yeah, man.
Because people are real worried about what's happening here. So Wanda Lewis gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. Let us know if you already voted or if you are going today.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know a few chat chimers already did mention that they voted. So big shout out to those who got the early voting in, got the thing done.
Yep, Carolyn Jackson said I voted already mid-October. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
Mark Manners says I'm in line now. He's okay. So he's live from the line right now. That's what's going on, Mark. Appreciate it, man. Mark has been very, very vocal as a friend of First Sky Omaha on who it is that he's behind. So it'll be some new, who'll try to get some new blood in and all that good stuff. So that's what's up. Appreciate that very much. It's really interesting, man. Mark is around my age, and so I always trip on, I met him 20, what was it, 25 years ago, something crazy.
Really?
Yeah, when I came out here to Omaha, I went to Homer's and found the biggest Prince collection that I ever found in my life at that time, in a time when I was traveling around the country trying to find Prince records. He had more stuff at Homer's than anywhere I was ever at. And I asked the people there. I was like, "Who is this? Who is the cat that's buying?" And they told me about him. I didn't meet him, but they told me about him back in the day. So when I got in town in 2010, and we met, and I was just like, "Man, you the dude who used to buy all the Prince records," So now I'm seeing him. We're both past. But I mean, we're never past buying Prince records, but we're both on this tip now. We're now, politics and stuff is now important at our age. It's interesting to see other people my age that are now, going, okay, yeah, we're gonna buy the Prince records, but we got to get this fool out of this seat too. On top of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, real interesting.
We need it all.
Linda in Chicago says, early voted by Dropbox. It's nice to take the time to research candidates at our leisure. No stress. That's why they're trying to take it away, man. I think they've taken away early voting in certain states.
They're trying to get rid of the drop boxes. They are trying to. There are so many things that they're trying to do to hinder your ability to vote, which shows you the power of your vote.
Exactly.
So,
actually, right here in Georgia, I've just came across an article where they had to extend absentee ballots and extend the deadline for absentee voting because over 1,000 absentee ballots weren't sent out due to a quote unquote human error.
And they want to try to act like we doing something to the vote. That's crazy.
Man, it's Cobb County.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is really crazy. Michelle, I know that even though you've been working at the theater and doing things all this whole time, I know you well enough to know you've been keeping track of what's going on politically, even though we haven't really talked about it here on the show with you. But what are some of the things that's been standing out with you over the past few months that's got you riled up and ready to go hurt somebody?
The fact that throughout this country, there are 300 folks on the ballot across the country who are Trump supporters and election deniers, and some who have vocally said that if they are put in office, there will never be a loss on the Republican ticket. So they are now just blatantly talking about manipulating elections.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk about this election being so incredibly important, we have got to make sure that we continue to control both houses of Congress. If we do not, this go around, you can pretty much be sure we're going to have Trump back in office.
Yeah, he just said the other day he's pretty sure that he's coming on back in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's where we're at, and the fact that's not democracy. So when they say democracy is on the line, they mean it. It's true.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. It's a scary thought. We actually had a conversation on Friends of First Sky page, and it kind of spilled over into the show about a few people saying that democracy was a bad idea, and kind of arguing that they don't support democracy.
They kept saying like this is a republic, and that's different than a like okay, it didn't sound like you really knew much about what things really were, but yeah, I didn't really get the argument, but yeah, people are actually saying that out loud these days.
Yeah,
we are a democratic republic, and the way that the system was designed, it was supposed to be government by the people for the people. There have been things put in place where they choose who the people are, and that's the problem. So this is the election. This is the one where we see where this country is headed. I encourage everybody to please get out and vote. The main thing I think we're looking at in this particular election, nationally, of course, is the Don Bacon and Tony Vargas battle.
What do you think the national significance?
Don Bacon, that would be wonderful.
Buddy said, what do you consider? Why do you consider national significance?
Because if we lose control of the House and the Senate, the democracy is pretty much over.
Mark Manners says today could be the end of democracy. No hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole.
Also, Carolyn Jack says democracy is on the ballot today. Wow. So yeah, we've been talking about how important it is, but I don't think we've been putting that kind of fire on it. I'm kind of struck right now, like wow. We just been concentrating on the positives about what about just making sure that people understand why they got to get out and why it's important, and what can we do to get people out. But yeah, I'm glad you're on to give us that fire about it for sure.
Yeah, this is this particular election is going to let me know whether or not this is a country by the people for the people or not. The Electoral College, of course, I think needs to be abolished. But as long as we have that in place and we have secretaries of state being elected that are Trump supporters and election deniers and touting the lie that there was fraud in the previous election, as long as we have those people in place, they can decertify the election results. They can send their own electors. So that's where we are. So we have to look at our Secretary of State races. We have to make sure we look at, it's when we talk about locally, say all politics is local, that's true also. We have to make sure that those people who are in charge of our elections are on the up and up.
Now, just to reiterate what you just said about them bringing in their own electors, I didn't know anything about an elector until I learned about what Precious McKesson, History Making P, did as the elector. I learned a lot about that position because she became the elector. And so, and what I understand about it is that if she decided that she wanted to change something up right at the end, she could have done that. She had the power to do that. But she delivered that. What exactly does she deliver? Tell us a little bit about that position again.
Well, electors, what they do, they're selected to represent the state's election results when the national, which is what was disrupted with Mike Pence. That's what the January 6th mess was about.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So our electors go in and kind of deliver the results, and then they're certified by the federal government in Congress. So that particular position is one you're selected based on the election results.
Mm.
So if you are selected as an elector, that means you go to represent your state and the decision they made in terms of the election.
Now, are they able to change that decision?
Technically, yes.
So if they decide they don't want to choose the decision that the state gave them, they can just change that when they're there.
They can. And that was one of the strategies that Trump's people were trying to make by sending fake electors or electors that they chose.
Dang. I forgot about that. They sent fake electors.
Yeah, they were going to send fake electors to Congress on January 6th regarding the certification of the votes.
That's crazy. Wow.
I didn't catch. So you saying that a part of the insurrection wasn't just to, attack or storm the Capitol, but a few people were actually there prepared to try to place a vote?
Right. What happened was, and Rachel Maddow broke the story, that in several states, key states to Biden's win, there was a conspiracy to replace electors or certify fake electors to send to the national. So that was thwarted because of really good reporting.
Man.
News gang
for real.
Yeah, I do remember across the country and in various states there were instances where individuals were trying to storm certain locations where votes were being counted on a local level, so not necessarily on the electoral college level, but on the local level, people were trying to get into those counting sessions.
Yeah. It's been this was a whole conspiracy here, and they tried to attack it from different angles to ensure that Trump did not have to leave that White House. So what happened is they submitted fraudulent certificates of ascertainment that falsely asserted that Trump had won the electoral college. That's what they did, and then they chose actual people as those false electors.
So as it stands, who chooses the actual official electoral college and electors?
The electoral college isn't it's not a real body. What it is it was set up really after the Civil War to appease the South, to make sure that they felt they were on equal standing in terms of electing folks to national office. So what it is based on how many districts you have, that's how many electors I believe you can send. I got to double check that, but so I think ours would be 5. And so you send your electors based on that. And that way, I think folks in the South, those states in the South, would feel that they had an equal standing or an equal footing. They were able to send as many people to as part of the electoral college as they have in the House of Representatives. So that having been said, people are looking at it now. It's kind of it's a dinosaur. We need to get rid of it, because in a couple of elections, as you all know, that we've sent people to the highest office in the land that did not win the popular vote.
Right.
I do want to point out something as far as the 14th Amendment and my understanding versus what you're saying as far as, certain laws and certain things that were put in place post Civil War and what this country really went through. Kind of growing up, I was understanding that the 14th Amendment was for former slaves, was for us to bring us as citizens into the country. But it has been since been brought to my attention that a large part of the 14th Amendment was also, or maybe mostly, for those who are in the South as a way to bring them back into the Union. What are your thoughts on that?
The 14th Amendment, I think, was supposed to rectify some of the things that were not specifically stated in the 13th Amendment. That, and yes, that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are U.S. citizens,
mm-hmm.
and therefore are able to receive all of the benefits thereof, citizenry. So that meant, we had access to vote, and all of the things.
Mm-hmm. But I'm saying that
all of the things that U.S. citizens have. So the 14th Amendment doesn't necessarily address what we're talking about today necessarily. I think what's happened is Republicans have been very adept at finding every loophole not addressed in the Constitution to fit themselves.
Well, I also bring up the 14th Amendment because I did a quick Google search on the electors, and I did find who selects the electors. But it was interesting. It also says, as a historical matter, the 14th Amendment provides that state officials who have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the United States or given aid and comfort to its enemies are disqualified from serving as electors. And what you're saying is insurrectionists tried to do that very thing as far as serving as electors.
Right. And so what that is saying is that those people who stormed the Capitol and engaged in seditious acts, they're unable going forward to serve as electors. That's all that.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no teeth in this, really. What has happened is, if you watch the special, it was a series, I think a 5 or 6 part series that was hosted by Will Smith that talked about how the 14th Amendment affected various groups of people and how it was used to gain civil rights for all these groups, from Chinese immigrants to women to it's a very good series, and I recommend that everybody watch it.
Yeah.
So it shows the importance of the 14th Amendment, and how it has been used in various court proceedings to help us move forward in gaining actual access to the rights that citizens should be afforded as citizens of this country. So I encourage everybody to watch that. It was on Netflix, by the way.
Yeah, that was a good one. I definitely encourage everybody to watch it too.
It's called Amend the Fight for America.
Yes.
7:50. It's 7:28 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, if you're just joining us, we're doing a special broadcast, a special election broadcast of First Sky Omaha in the morning. We got Michelle Troxclair on the line. She's going to give us a soapbox moment in a few minutes, but just wanted to jump back into the chat real quick and bring it back to the local level. Mark Manor says Bacon gets in leadership on this round if he wins. And I want to know a little bit about what you mean by he gets in leadership. What will change if he wins this time around? Of course, we know that he's running against let's see, Bacon in what race is this? Bacon in
Vargas.
Tony Vargas, right? We've had Tony Vargas on several times. We didn't have Bacon on this time around. We used to have him on Mind and Soul all the time. He never hesitates to come jump on, but he never really says much when he does come on. So we kind of just he's over there on 95.7 The Boss. He's over there talking to Bill King, and so we gave Tony Vargas a little bit more time. I know that most people who are listening, who are on our Friends of First Sky Omaha page, are probably voting for Tony. So I just want to remind everybody about that. But I still like to know if Bacon does win. And how does that mean that he gets in leadership? What do you mean by that, Mark? If you're still there, also we're still putting a call out there for people in the chat. Let us know what your experience is today. Have you gone to vote already? Did you do the early voting? Are you going today? Mark Manner's in line right now voting. He said a couple people said they voted. They did early voting by Dropbox. So just like to know what your experience is. If you've been able to talk to anybody, talk to three. We talked about talking to 2 or 3 people around you about going to vote, making sure that people have rides, getting to the right spot. Did you have any trouble trying to find where your polling place is? I definitely had a little trouble trying to find mine, which is the reason why I went down to election commission. If you went to the election commission, what was your experience there? I definitely was in a room full of Republicans. They were in there deep, and so um, yeah. So there's a lot to it. But anyway, yeah, we just kind of wanted to jump on briefly. It's going to be an abbreviated show. We're going to get off around 8 o'clock. Just wanted to kind of get on and check in with people so that people can check in with us before you go down and vote today, and just to remind people that that's what's happening. And just have a little a special edition here. So and also to bring Michelle Troxclair back on
Yeah.
to speak about the importance of it. She's been very, very passionate about what's been going on here in politics lately, and like I said, she already proved if it ain't right here, she'll hop to another country in a hot minute,
Man.
and she might have to do it again if it goes down. I might have to go with her this time though, because because it's
I'm gonna
crazy.
need y'all to get y'all's passports ready. I'm not kidding y'all. This election will let us know whether or not this country is willing to give up 200 and some odd years, 250 plus years of democracy, because they don't want people of color to have equal footing.
It's been a trend. It's been a trend around the world. As a matter of fact, with Brexit, I'm thinking of the German that just got into office. That's the right wing German that just got elected. It's a trend going on around the world about trying to push brown people out of places.
Mm.
And I don't think the United States wants to be left behind that.
Well, the thing is I think Britain had a wake-up call, and they just ousted their brand new prime minister, right-wingy prime minister.
Right.
So I think there may be a swinging of the pendulum when it's crazy. But here, because we have this history that a lot of European countries don't have, where it's been stoked for the past 60 years, the fear of Black and brown people and the stereotypes that we are incapable of leadership, that we are going to do unto them what they have done unto us. These people are terrified. And yes, they're willing to put in a dictator and go to fascism rather than allow Black and brown people equality. I find that very interesting and terrifying.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. That's putting it that way is pretty incredible. Let us know what you think. Definitely jump into the chat. Let us know what you think about what's going on here, the state of things. We knew this was a very important election, but what we're hearing today is this is the deciding election on some very, very, very big issues and topics. And it's interesting. It's a primary that this is happening on, but it is what it is. So the fight is to get people. Most people don't really even go vote on the primary. A lot of people don't, I should say. And
you mean the midterms?
I mean midterms. Excuse me. Yeah, midterms. During a midterm election, things are hanging in the balance that heavy, and that's incredible. It's 7:34 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we did have a couple of topics that we wanted to jump into real quick before we get into Michelle Troxclair's soapbox moment. Buddy, you want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we left hanging yesterday, and kind of jump in and talk a little bit about some of the stories that are relevant here. We're still really talking about the local politics. These are things that we're going to handle today if we haven't handled those things already. So it's interesting to kind of get a little backstory on what's going on in our cities, in our towns. We got national attention from AP this morning on the governor's race. And I love that AP said that that called Pillen out for not debating, which was cool. So a couple of things we'll dive into, buddy. Maybe you can take over on that, and we can get to it before we get to Michelle Troxclair's soapbox moment.
Definitely. And one of the main things that's kind of hovering over the day, aside from the races and the ballot initiatives that we will be voting on, is just the tensions that Michelle has mentioned. And that's kind of part of the reason why we are asking everyone to share their experiences at the polls. Definitely those of you who are going in person, who haven't voted early. And in regards to Nebraska, election officials are saying that poll watcher numbers are normal amid rising national concern. So again, there is a real national concern about disruption, violence, or just again, just disruptions at the polling places. But apparently here in Nebraska, again, election officials aren't too worried about that. In Lincoln, while several states are bracing for potential conflicts, election commissioners from Nebraska's two most populous counties, Douglas and Lancaster, both said the number of volunteer poll watchers that will be monitoring Tuesday's general election are level or slightly lower compared to the 2020 election, which we know was very, very charged. The groups recruiting the volunteers also come from a range of political affiliations, also our religious backgrounds. We talked about some of the faith leaders and organizations that are organizing nationally to send poll chaplains and lawyers actually to the polls for anyone who has any questions or anything like that. But however, in states such as North Carolina, New Mexico, and Wisconsin, there are real growing concerns that poll workers will face disruption and hostility from a wave of newly aggressive poll watchers who are largely fueled by, of course, as Michelle laid out, false theories and conspiracies that the 2020 presidential election was rigged, according to reports by the Associated Press. So again, as we all make our way to the polls, and you know, if our vote didn't matter, as Michelle always says, and as Precious McKesson always says, then they wouldn't be doing all of this. There wouldn't be this real concern or tension really at the polling places, which is why a lot of early ballot voting numbers are up. But this as Michelle says, not just nationally in our backyard, there are real things at stake. Of course, the big race is the gubernatorial race that we're looking at, that Paul just mentioned, got national attention from the Associated Press. Of course, that's between Republican Jim Pillen, as we like to call him around here, and Election Day, and Democratic State Senator Carol Blood, new blood, as we like to say, as Nebraskans haven't elected a Democrat since 1994. So Carol Blood trying to do something big, going uphill, fighting on a slippery slope. But of course, Pillen has emerged from a contentious primary in the spring by beating 8 other candidates who had been endorsed by Donald Trump. And of course, his support from Ricketts has been very, very well covered. Actually, Ricketts has poured about $3.8 million into races this election cycle. So there's a lot at stake. There's a lot being invested in this, and reasonably so. The primary, of course, highlighted divisions in the Republican Party. Activists who support Trump and want to take the party further to the right, and more moderate members who are actually backing Pillen, who recently served as a University of Nebraska Board of Regents. And if you remember, actually towards the end or a little bit before the beginning, really, of this electoral cycle, Pillen was one of the regents who voted against or denied CRT and other diversity initiatives that were being put onto the University of Nebraska students, and the students supported it. However, Pillen was starkly against it, and that just kind of gives you an input or a little peek into what kind of governor he might be. Of course, we all, a lot of the viewers and the people in the chat were there when we spoke to Carol Blood, so we don't necessarily need to go too much into that. But again, make sure we're voting for new blood. That's really the main thing. And as we continue to learn and go through the civic engagement and education, the governor's race, man, this is the most powerful race. Again, as we're learning, we spoke to Dave Pantos and not too long ago, and he reminded us not only are the governors responsible for supporting or voting down some legislation, but also appointing some positions, judges, most namely, also parole board. A lot of positions are appointed by the governor. So again, this is a big race that we need to be paying attention to. And of course, the money is lopsided. So let's definitely Man, follow the money, and let's make sure we're spreading the word and telling a friend and just opening our mouths, because that does not cost anything.
There you go. And that's what we're here doing today. Um, just trying to get on and allow people to talk and tell their stories and check in with us before you go and do this very special deal that's going on today. The only thing that's happening today really is getting down there to these polls. As you can hear from people talking in the chat, and also what Michelle Troxclair is saying, this is a very, very, very important race. Super important race. This is one of these races that is gonna change. It's everybody's saying democracy is on the line here. Democracy itself is on the line on this midterm election, which is huge. But it just goes to show you about how people have been positioning things so clearly for such a while, for such a long time now, that now we're here, and there's a lot of catching up everybody has to do to try to even things out, whatever that means to you, to even things out. So very interesting stuff, and it's a lot on the line, lot on the line. So I had this one, I had been looking at the women's guide for the voters guide, um, that was in the reader just recently, and I was telling people that I was getting stuck on the judges until somebody talked about a strategy of allowing, not letting, going ahead and saying, yeah, you don't need to reelect these judges, because if Carol Blood gets in, then she'll be the one appointing those judges, and so a lot of it, that's like, let her get in and appoint the ones that she wants to get in and appoint. So even though that was kind of like some people's strategy, I still kind of went and dug deep into looking at it, because it's kind of interesting. You have pages that you can go to where other lawyers are assessing these judges and giving their opinions about them, but then you go back and look at some of the cases that those judges were presided over, and you can kind of get a sense of where they lean as well, and then make your decision that way. Um, but other than that, I really didn't have to do too much digging on too many things. Like, we
Mhm.
already knew it was gonna, that we're behind Dave Pontos, we're behind the brother for sheriff,
Greg Gonzalez.
Greg Gonzalez, Carol Blood. So it really is something that is not that big of a deal to go down and just handle, man. Fill in a couple bubbles and get it done, and it's your right to do that, and it's very important to do that. And I really don't anymore see much reason to not, when it comes to this, especially these local politics, especially these things that affect us daily, affect us in big ways all the time, affects our life, it affects who has access to your kids.
Right.
I mean, there's so many things about local politics that we're learning is directly affecting us on a daily basis. If you're overall not into politics, I can understand that too. I mean, in the end, it's all man-made stuff, and we don't know we don't know how we don't we, according to your beliefs, you got to understand that sometimes you can feel like there's nothing is ever going to be right because of where we're at. But at the same time, if you're especially in a local situation where you can directly affect what's going on with your life, with people that are directly affecting your life, then yeah, just sitting back and not doing nothing about it don't even seem right. It doesn't even seem like it's a smart thing to do at all. So especially when you can do something so easy as to read a couple paragraphs about some stuff and then go down and vote. You really gotta think about it. So anyway, at this point, 7:44 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're just having an abbreviated show today. Just want to kind of come on and talk to people a little bit about what their experience about the election. Give us some more experiences in the chat, if you will, if you're here. If you're ghost listening, cool. Just take in the encouragement. We got a special guest, Michelle Troxclair, on the line. She has a soapbox moment that she wants to deliver. Just so I can imagine it's going to be something that gives you some inspiration, a very powerful piece that she puts together in order for us to get inspired to do things. A lot of times we get caught up in just delivering information and having some conversations here, but we miss Michelle for some of the inspiring things, the words that she puts together about why we do the things we do and why we're having these conversations and all that good stuff. So if you're ready, Michelle, then and you, buddy, if you wanted to move on to her soapbox moment, you want
Yeah,
to go ahead and get down.
I'm
All
ready.
right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Michelle Troxler's soapbox moment. Here you go. Are you there? Oh no, no, we don't have the intro music right now.
Oh yeah. No music.
We. Yeah. That's all you get.
Okay, I appreciate you. Okay, the one thing we have not talked about as yet, which I kind of purposely held back on, is the fact that women's bodily autonomy is on the ballot. And we are barreling into Handmaid's Tale land here. And that's not hyperbole. This is real. We have women who have to drive 6, 7, 10 hours in order to get an abortion so they don't die.
Jeez.
That's where we are. And here in Nebraska, if we are going to vote Pillen in, and we have a primarily Republican unicameral, we are very dangerously close to losing any rights we have to our own bodies. And that's real. Because if you think this is where they're stopping, this is not where they're stopping. Contraception is in trouble and our access to it. We are now living in such perilous times. In my 53 years on this earth, I never thought we would be here. The overturning...
Oh, hell.
Let me get out of here. The overturning of Roe v. Wade, first of all, I don't think people understand truly the ramifications of that. They never codified it into law. And so when the Supreme Court made the decision to overturn a precedent that had been on the books for over 50 years, they opened it up to each individual state to do what they wanted to do with reference to abortion. So us being a very red state, and with what we know of Pillen, what we can look forward to or not look forward to in terms of abortion rights is something very strict that does not even allow for rape, incest, or life of the mother. And so what we have effectively become is breeders. So I think we definitely have to look at where this country is going with reference to the rights of people of color and specifically women. Because where we are at now, and they were very strategic with this. They're not trying to save Black babies. They're not trying to save brown babies. They need to maintain their majority. How do they do that? As many white babies as possible. By limiting immigration from countries of brown people. And then, of course, the 2-for-1 with the lack of access to abortion is they know for a fact that Black women are 4 to 5 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes than white women. So they get more white babies, they get to kill off Black women, and they stem people from coming over the border. It's all strategic. They are really trying to maintain their majority. Ever since they learned that they could lose majority status by 2035, they have been working diligently to make sure that that doesn't happen. So when I talk about what is on the ballot this time, when I'm talking about what's at stake here, if you vote into the governorship, Mr. Pillen, the rights of women to bring life into this world or not is at stake. The access we would have to health care, vital to a lot of women. A lot of women should not give birth because it's dangerous. And all of that is being taken away. Systematically, it's being taken away. And so make no mistake, our access to contraception is on the ballot. That's what they're going to go for next. And they use religion. They use so many dirty tactics in order to push this agenda when all it is eugenics. So when I tell people that this election is the make or break for this country, trust and believe, I am not being hyperbolic. I'm not just trying to fire off alarms. It's real. This is what these people want. This is what they stand for. And what I find so incredibly interesting and so funny about all of this is that there are fewer of them than there are of us. It's just we don't get out and vote. That's the problem. Most of the country, most of registered voters are Democrats. And until we stand up and get on one accord and not just tout our own personal issues, you know, we got people, well, I don't like him because of his stance on LGBTQ rights. I don't like him because he doesn't push for climate change legislation. We cannot let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So we have got to get together as a party and as people who actually care about one another and the state of the country and the plight of the planet. We have got to get together and vote these fools out today. And I know Buddy is down there at one of the most contentious races in Georgia.
Yep.
And how we let somebody with a head injury get this far in the race.
Need a runner, not a walker. Need a runner, not a walker.
My name is Hersha Walker.
It is beyond me. This is one of the most despicable men. He is right up there with me with Donald Trump. Despicable human being. They don't care. And they've said it. They just want control of the Senate. You're willing to send somebody who will not do anything proactive for the people of your state just so you can have control of the Senate. I find that disturbing to say the least, but okay. It's imperative though that we really look hard at ourselves as a country. And what do we want it to look like? If we want it to be what it has been, a majority white patriarchy that is not actually for the people, by the people, but for a certain group of people, by a certain group of people, then, you know, let things go as they are. Fine, if that's what you want. If you don't, if you know we can do better, if you know that this is not the route we want to go, and you don't want to see the country spiral into a fascist state, you've got to get out and vote. Women's very lives are on the line. Black people's very lives are on the line. Our brown brothers and sisters, their lives are on the line. And I'm not being hyperbolic here. We don't know the depth of the wickedness they are intending to impose on this country on people that they don't like or don't care for. They have shown that they are really out of the box. So I think that after tonight, we will know what this country stands for. And I had always had my rose-colored glasses on. I had always hoped we would always be moving toward a better nation, that we had flaws, but that we were moving toward bettering those flaws and making amends for some of those flaws, that we were moving toward that. But since the election of Donald Trump, I've taken off the rose-colored glasses. And we're going to see today whether or not it's going to go to a fascist dictatorship, because that's what they want. So you got to get out and vote. We got to get out and vote. It's not for yourself, for your children and your grandchildren. So that's my soapbox moment.
Right on. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Michelle Troxclair's soapbox moment at a time when we need to hear it. So appreciate you very much for that.
Laying it out.
Yep. Buddy, you were. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
We were just talking. We were just sitting here thinking. Buddy sent me a message that makes me think of Brother Brooks's book. Walter Vincent Brooke wrote a book called "Trust No Shadows After Dark." That we've been digging in and going through. And yeah, man, he's been warning. He's been working on this book for 20 something years, and he saw it 20 something years ago where we're at now, and it's laying out how we're here and why we got here the way we did and everything, and what's at stake right now too. Exactly the same things you're talking about.
Yeah. Actually, there's a excerpt from that book. If y'all don't mind, I read
Yep,
it.
please.
Again, it's called "Trust No Shadows After Dark: African American Genocide in the United States of America." And this book is available at the African American Bookstore. Please, please, please go support the African American Bookstore and this book. And Brother Walter Vincent Brooks, of course, a longtime journalist in the community of Omaha, and actually, I believe in Seattle for a little bit. But again, the excerpt or on the back of the book, it says, "It can happen here. It can happen here." What exactly? How many millions of European Jews must have said those very words as they watched Adolf Hitler and the Nazi human death machine fall upon them? And why is it that so many Americans really think it can never happen here? Trust No Shadows After Dark: African American Genocide in the United States of America is the conversation whose time has finally come. This forensic investigation of the expanding social death and deterioration of the African American people in America is a groundbreaking new path of inquiry and research. Brooks methodically establishes why the total elimination of the African American population has become the only recourse left for sustained dominance of white supremacy in the United States. Making his case, truth by truth, Brooks' final summation may be the scariest vision of the American future that exists in contemporary literature. Trust No Shadows After Dark is the fresh, unsparing, and deeply thought-provoking analysis of racial relations in the United States badly needed today, how we get to where we are now, and what is coming next. Time is running out for all Americans who really believe that it can't happen here. Intelligently written in plain English, all readers must be enabled to judge for themselves. So again, I bring that up to say, beyond just this election, beyond 2024, we could be heading in, it could get worse than it already is.
And apparently today is a deciding day for whether or not it's going to be worse. So we can't stress enough. I know we're preaching to the choir a lot about what we're talking about here, but get there, get people there, get your 18-year-olds there. That's the only thing that can work. And Michelle said something in her soapbox moment that really stuck out to me, that always boggles my mind, because I have this theory. As a matter of fact, a people in the sevens theory is all about agreements, and that there's nothing that can't be done if people don't get together. If people get together and decide to do it, and the getting together part is where we always have problems. She mentioned that we outnumber the majority. If you do a poll, and they've done these polls on what it is this state. Let's just talk about this state. People in the state want. It's always like two. It's always like 3-1. What it is that they want, that's opposite of what the people in power are pushing or allowing to happen, or they're ignoring the majority. And like Michelle said, presidents have gotten in now, even though they were millions of votes off. Majority of people not wanting them in, and still got in because of processes and things that's just going on, in that way. So it always strikes me, if we can just get enough people together, that believe a certain thing, or wish for a certain thing to happen here, and understand you wish the same thing I wish. Let's go in here and vote together and make it happen. That's the only way that it's gonna work. So it just really strikes me that that a minority of people are dictating what's going on for a majority of people that disagree with what they are trying to push and rule and make laws of. And
Divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
Yep. Well, I think we're going to learn some very interesting things about this country come tonight or tomorrow morning. So, good or bad, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we really appreciate you coming on this morning, and letting us, giving us some words of encouragement. Well, definitely, yeah. Let's go to the chat. I have a lock on the chat, buddy. If you could read some, I think that I stopped where Mark Manor said Bacon gets into leadership on this round if he wins, and then something glitched, and then I haven't been able to see any more in the chat, and I was wondering if people were still here. So,
Yeah.
if they are, do me a favor and go ahead and read some of the chat there if you don't mind.
Yeah. Mark Manor, we'll start there in regards to how Bacon might get into leadership. Mark Manor says he put his time in and will be put in more leadership roles and not be as much of a backbencher. He says for some reason after 4 wins you move up in their political ranks. Also, Marianne Williams saying she voted by mail and will be making calls for candidates today. Okay, so even after she voted, that's a good point. Even after you vote, there's still work that you can do. Again, this country requires, like, we as citizens, we have duties, like we have work to do. Even if you're not in an elected position, you still have work to do. So keep that in mind. Sean McCarthy says, I spent about an hour looking over the judge ratings. We'll be voting over lunch. Some guys scheduled a 1-hour meeting over lunch. I wasn't having it. Definitely make sure you get out. But again, voting is simple enough that you can do it over lunch. Or Precious kind of gave us a story of her going over lunch to vote and still having time to eat. So
yeah, man.
Also keep that in mind.
Quick process. It really is.
Yeah. Also, Precious, speaking of Precious, she says, I will vote.com. I will vote.com will give you all the information you need for voting purposes today. So again, you can check that out if you haven't voted, if you're still planning to go to the polls, if you still have questions. I will vote.com will give you all the information you need for your voting purposes today. Also, there's a Michael Watts, who's a name we don't really see that often in the chat. Speaking, it says, our community dropped the ball on politics. Our own focus on too many photo ops, too few info sessions. I kind of got a feeling we was talking about the photo ops. Just look where candidates host their watch party tonight. No Omaha, only represented by one head, North Omaha, only represented by one head in a group photo. It does when they only come to us just for a vote that holds them back for hosting the watch party here as a true commitment to North Omaha.
We'll be talking about photo ops tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely be talking about photo ops. But yes. Big shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Also, Carolyn Jack, kind of speaking to what's at stake, says if we lose control and Trump is allowed back into office, I don't believe he'll ever leave.
Wow.
And kind of going back to the Trust No Shadows After Dark, going back to Brother Walter Vincent Brooks' summation of a possible African American Holocaust. Hitler was elected. Hitler gained power through the process.
What'd you say?
I think there's nothing scarier than scared white people. And that's where we're at right now. So we've got to, we're not going to change hearts and minds. We've tried that for 400 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, now it's about following the playbook that they set forth, and we're going to vote them out. So.
Wow, that's powerful right there. That's wow. We're not going to change hearts and minds. We've tried that for 400 years. This is not about changing hearts and minds. This is about taking some action. Yeah.
Yep, because it's been proven that when we act on one accord, we make huge change. It's happened in Georgia. Stacey Abrams got out there and did her thing and had record turnout of black voters. And so that's what we have to do. We can change these elections. So
hear that. Don't forget today a couple of events going on. This is kind of a culture house day after you get done voting. If you're not working, go check out Party After the Polls. Get out to vote in North Omaha, then join us to celebrate handling your business food and raffle entry throughout the day. Kimra Snipes was talking to us a little bit about the raffle and giving us some of the terms for the raffle and all that in the chat. You can hit her up if you have any questions for that. But go down 2 to 7 is going down over at the Culture House, and as you can see, there's a lot of people that are involved here that are going to be part of this party. So go down and check it out. Food and raffle entry throughout the day. Join us to celebrate handling your business. I like that a lot. And then later on that day, after that, there'll be a second party hosted by Brianna Full, who's running for OPS school board from 7 to 9:30. And that'll be at the Culture House as well, with live music, hors d'oeuvres, drinks, all kinds of stuff. They'll also be accepting donations for the OPS Secondary Success Program's Thanksgiving baskets. So bring a turkey, ham, pie, greens, beans, potatoes, you name it, and a bag of dinner rolls, and you'll get a free full for OPS T-shirt if you bring those things down for that particular charity there. So thank you very much for everybody who is throwing some election parties over at the Culture House. It's going to be a good day at the Culture House for people to be kind of going and just hanging out and celebrating, talking about relaying information, talking to each other about what happened, what they did, how they voted, how their experience was, and just kind of sharing in the moment and hoping that we are making a change and a difference here. Just to remind you too, because there's been so many absentee ballots and early voting, we won't get results for a lot of the races this evening.
Yep.
There's going to be some delays in counting votes and all that good stuff now that they're they're trying to act, we got a battle. It's a little bit of a battle to make sure that these things are getting counted right and everything's up and fair. So it'll be a few days before we get some results on these. But so don't get too caught up in predictions and polls. They just add to your anxiety. We'll see. We'll see in the end who's gonna win in a day or two on some of these things. So with that said, I kind of wanted to get out of here. I wanted to keep it around an hour this morning, just a special edition that we can talk to you a little bit before you guys go out and vote and handle your business today. And of course, call each other, stay in contact. Anybody needs rides, don't hesitate to ask people. Need help looking at stuff, even if you need help going over some of the candidates. It's really a 15-minute conversation and a 5-minute vote. It really is not that big a deal. Like I said, I posted something one time that was like, people trip on going and spending 5 minutes in there filling in some bubbles and then go play Keno later on that night. And Keno is way more
fill out some bubbles.
Right. Keno is way more complicated to me than this vote was. So and then the gambling side of that too. Everybody's like, well, your vote don't matter. Well, take the gamble. You ain't doing nothing but filling in a couple votes, a couple bubbles. You like I say, you do it at Keno. That's a gamble too. Going and handle your business. So just want to encourage people to get out there and keep in contact with each other and keep an eye on each other at these voting places. There don't seem to be any trouble happening, but we're also keeping our eye on things because you never know. Like we were talking about that episode of Atlanta in this last season. White supremacist groups trying to come and mess with people at the voting booth. That's not too far from something that could actually be happening now. Like I said, it's nothing to be afraid of. We're not scared here in our state, especially. There has not been any reports of any weirdness going on there. Everything seems to be up and up. It's just an easy process. Go down.
Just be alert. Just
be
alert.
Keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, with that,
we ain't gonna let crazy stop us from trying to gain our freedom. So
that's right.
No.
You said
that's
that
what's on the line right now.
You said there ain't nothing scarier than scary white folks, but there ain't nothing crazier than crazy black folks. So don't start. Don't won't be none. And
you got that right.
We'll leave it at that. Michelle, you got any last words for the people?
Just make sure you get out and vote and take folks with you when you go to the polls. My son and my daughter are going with me today.
Nice.
So, Tyson, this is only his second election. He's being able to vote in. He's excited and ready to go.
Nice.
Get your kids engaged in politics, so they know what's happening. The future is everything that's done will affect their future.
Yeah.
Yep.
It should be the main
so make
ones
sure they understand. Yeah. Right. It's important.
Well, thank you very much for that and your soapbox moment. Really, really
Yes.
encouraging. Appreciate you. Buddy, is there any more in the chat that I'm not seeing?
I mean, yeah, there's a little back and forth, especially between Precious and Michael Watts, which I did want to address. A comment from Michael Watts saying candidates have no agenda for North Omaha. There are several candidates who are addressing North Omaha: Greg Gonzalez, David Pantos, Brianna Fool. You say you've been going to events, but maybe you haven't been paying close enough attention. And also, what is your plan? Do you have a plan? We should have our own plan, and we shouldn't just be relying on elected officials to come up with all the answers for us. We should collectively decide what we want to do and then elect a person to represent that. That's how that should work.
Yeah,
Not just
for us. We got to come up with the plan
exactly,
for sure.
exactly. We don't rely on candidates to come up with all the answers. They supposed to represent us.
There you go.
Yeah, we need to give them the answers, and they need to take it and put them into action.
There you go. There you go. So,
and if they don't, you need to get out of that seat.
Exactly. And we'll find somebody else who will fulfill our plan. So again, that's how it's supposed to go. Does it always happen that way? No, but we have an opportunity to make it work that way. So go vote. Also, Culture House from 2 to 10 is going down. Pull up.
Yeah, man.
I might hang out for a bit.
Hey, come through. Shout out to my man Marcy Yates for hosting. But yeah, catch the same time, same place tomorrow. Big shout out to all the chat chimers. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. And yeah, Paul, take it away.
All right,
y'all. Have a good one.
Okay, you too.
All right.
All right, peace. All right. Thank you, Michelle, for coming on through. I also want to give a shout out to the Benson Theater. Benson Theater has let everybody off this morning to go vote.
Nice.
So, nobody got to worry about work at the Benson Theater. The crew of, I think there's 11 of us now over there, get the day off to go handle some business, handle our business. And shout out to any other business that's allowing people to get off of work and not be penalizing them for going and doing their civic duty. So appreciate that very much. And just want to give a shout out to the Benson Theater, Amy Ryan and them for that. Appreciate that very much. Also, I appreciate the Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to speak and be on this land in the first place. So we will be speaking to them pretty soon over at the Benson Theater for the Rhymes of the Young Ghouls movie. Rhymes for Young Ghouls movie. There's going to be a talk back, and we're going to get to speak to some elders again on that day. So definitely check that out. Go to bensontheater.org and check it out. I want to give a shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before them, and shout out to all of you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thanks for joining us and letting us know about your thoughts and feelings about things and your experience and what you're experiencing right now. Shout out to Mark Manor, especially for standing in line to go vote and still tuning in and contributing. Really, really appreciate that, brother. And everybody else and all of you, all the ghost listeners that came in. Thank you very much. We will have a show tomorrow. We will be talking about some of the little local controversy that's going on here with a photo that's been floating around that we have that there's been some comments on. So we're definitely going to try to bring the Black community together on some issues tomorrow, and also hopefully we'll get some answers on who won the election by tomorrow. But like I said, we're planning. It's sounding like it's going to be the week. It's going to take them 5 to 7 days to really kind of get everything counted, and so we'll be anticipating that. But we'll be celebrating nonetheless, just for people paying attention and doing their civic duty and doing the thing, going out and handling some business, and at least be getting on the ride to handle that business. That's what it's all about for us. So thank you very much. I'm sorry that I lost you guys in the chat. I don't know what happened there with the tech here, but I hope that we covered everybody that wanted to speak here today. And like I said, really appreciate the chat chimers. This is always a conversation with you guys, so thank you very much for that. And in the meantime, between time, we will see you tomorrow. Is 7:00 same time for Women's Wednesday. We're going to have Precious Preston on and Kimra Snipes on as well, and we're going to talk to them about their experience and what's up in their camps, and it'll be a great thing to hear from them too. So shout out to everybody who is going to get up with us tomorrow at the same time, 7:00, and go and jump into some more conversations. Many things to talk about. And everything that you guys have been putting in Friends of First Sky Omaha too, very much appreciated. And it's good to hear about what you guys want to talk about, and seeing what's going to be on the agenda the next day is always a good thing. So Thank you very much for that. And with that said, buddy, if you got anything else, and let's go ahead and get on out of here this morning.
No, that's it, man. Catch the same time, same place tomorrow. Peace.
Go vote. Vote. That's what the V for today.
Hey.
Peace. Go vote. All right. See you guys. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroads